Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 10 of Wands. There's a lot of energy here, right? A lot of effort. I feel like you're somebody who is always willing to help out a friend. When someone is moving their house or something, you're the one that does the bulk of the work, you know? I feel like sometimes you go into a situation feeling as if you've got to take on more responsibility than everybody else. I don't think it's a competitive thing for you. I feel like it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe because you know that you're capable of it, so you feel like it's your obligation to do as much as you can. And I feel that, you're the one that people really go to when they need help. When they need help with anything. Lifting big, heavy things or figuring out complex math problems. I don't know. Sometimes I feel that you could be a little bit too generous with your energy. And it may feel at times that your vitality is sort of drained by the things that you're committed to and engaged with for other people. And at the end of the day, there might not be much left for you. So we have to be careful with that. Sometimes the 10 of Wands is really a card that says we need to sort of spread things out a little bit more, that you don't have to take on everything. The world is not literally on your shoulders, okay? Or if it is, you don't need to be adding other worlds on top of that one. You know what I mean? We don't need to make things more difficult for ourselves. Yeah. Let's take a look at what other energies are surrounding this card. Okay. This is a lot of effort being put into a lot of things. And I want to see what those things are and how this is benefiting you. Okay. So we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. There is that sort of even, there's the fairness, right? And I think the fairness of everything kind of, is an important thing for you to figure out now. How to spread things out more evenly. How to sort of, how to rein it in a little bit, but still fulfill your obligations. Very interesting. Because this feels, for instance, the 10 of Wands feels that you have all the responsibility. No one else is really pulling all that much weight. You're pulling all the weight. The Justice card then says, hey, that's unfair. What can we do about that? Can we make things a little bit more even? Can we share the load a little bit? Can we balance things out a little bit better? Okay? Because, I wonder if you're putting in so much effort that it's leaving you with very little for the things that you really need or want to do. Okay, let's keep going. Let's put more cards out on the table. But I think this is very straightforward with these two. We've got a higher perspective here. We've got a Queen of Swords, a 2 of Swords, a 4 of Cups, and a 7, the 7 of Pentacles. The way things are going, I feel like you don't have enough energy for the tasks and for the things that you really want to accomplish. Okay. With the 4 of Cups up at the top, it doesn't seem as if there's really all that much appreciation for what you've been doing, and I think you've maybe been recognizing that. And this might not be like moving furniture. I mean, it could be. I did that for many years, and it's hard work. In fact, my whole family, my father and my father's father and all their brothers and stuff, they were all truck drivers and furniture movers. I come from a long line of the furniture movers. Anyway, the 4 of Cups is saying that you're not really getting the appreciation, and you're recognizing that. And so you feel kind of almost a coldness now kind of coming on you. And it's just, you want to be of service, you want to help everybody. But at the same time, you have to look into the future and think, I need to start focusing on certain aspects of my own life. You have goals. You have things that you are trying to grow in your life, right? You're worried about everybody else's garden, helping everybody else with their garden. Our garden's not growing. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to stop helping everybody else and just focus on your garden and make your garden the best on the block, right? I mean, maybe. But you can still help everybody, but also help yourself. Okay? So I think there's great personal sacrifice in your life right now with that 10 of Wands. And we could be talking about a partnership, a business thing, maybe a partner, financial partner, business partner, or even a romantic partner. Someone's not pulling their weight with you. You're pulling all the weight. We want the even distribution. We want to say, hey, we're in this together. How come you're not doing an equal share of the work? Now, when we think of an equal share of the work, let's say you live with somebody, and let's say you're sharing expenses of your house. Is it more fair? Let's say you make $1 million a year. Well, maybe, whatever. You make a lot of money. But the other person doesn't make a lot of money. Let's say you have a roommate, right? Or let's say you have, maybe you're living with a partner and you just say, we're gonna share the bills. You have your income, I have mine, we're gonna share the bills. But you make a lot more money. Is it fair to split the bills half and half? Your half, right? It's the same amount, both sides. But that 50% is going to be way less relative to your income than for the other party. Does that make sense? So if you're making $1,000 a month and your bills are, half of the bills are, let's say, $100 a month. That's what, 10%, right? But then if your partner is making half of that, they're making $500 a month, they still have to pay $100. That's 20%. My math is getting good today. That's 20% of their income, you see. And so how do we judge fairness? That's, I guess, the point with the justice card. What is justice, really? What is this virtue of fairness and justice that we seek? Is it equal? Is it saying, I don't care how much you make versus how much I make, 50-50? Or is it saying what's fair and what is just is that I pay more, let's say I pay 15% of my income, and you pay 15% of your income. Obviously, my amount will be larger, but that's fair, right? So I think we have to ask ourselves, what does that mean? What does fairness mean to us? And in this situation, wherever you feel as if you're paying everything, are you going to say we're splitting it 50-50? Or are we saying, well, I don't mind paying more, but I need it has to be fair, right? Is the bottom line. Because I think otherwise this situation it's not tenable for you. It's not working. Okay. 7, this is failure in the future. We don't want that. But if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now we'll put the rest of our cards on the table and then we'll get into it. Here's a Knight of Cups. There is the Eon card, the 4 of Wands, and the Fool. Okay. It doesn't seem as if this situation has a very, it's not the outcome that we were thinking. Okay. I think the fairness here, it's kind of, if we look at the 2 cards here, the Fool and the 10 of Wands, one person's doing all the work, the other person is not doing anything, right? We see a doorway. That's all. That's something. Okay. But we also see a love. We also see a commitment. We also see that there's a need to, we love this person or the people. Maybe this is more than one person. Maybe this is just one. But there's a purpose here. It's kind of like you don't really mind doing it, but you're starting to realize that it seems like it's being taken for granted. Okay. Interesting. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite. And unknown, we'll set it down right here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley, right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. But it will tie everything together and it will give us our confirmation. Okay. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look around the room here. We've got the Justice card, the Eon card, and the Fool. The doorway to freedom, the doorway to kind of maybe getting along, right? It's not necessarily a card of equality here, of fairness, but it could be that the fairness, the justice, may be the doorway to really letting go and getting to the creative life and getting to having fun and enjoying life and not worrying about this. Maybe this is a financial thing. Maybe it really does seem as if you're carrying the burden, you're carrying the majority of the burden, and there's something that's not quite fair or just about that. And I think that perhaps you have a difficulty speaking up about it. We see some air energy, but not much. And the air energy is kind of, it's behind you and beneath you. So it's kind of, it's at the back of your mind. It's kept inside. It's under the surface here. It's not something that's outwardly expressed. Okay. And I think this does have to do with, obviously, a relationship with another party, another person, maybe one person, maybe many people. It's not really the point. But I think it's something that we need to address, and you need to think about it, and you need to look at it, because you want the fairness. You want it to be appreciated. You want it to be not only appreciated, but if it was, let's say it was appreciated, then it seems as if the other person would make an effort to kind of to take some of that burden off of you. It's almost like you've been paying the bills with your roommate for a long time, yeah. And maybe they didn't have a job or something happened, and okay, that's good. That's very noble of you. You love that person, and we would all do it for the people we love, right? But then let's say that person got a job. They started making good money. Then they started buying new clothes and new cars and all this stuff, and it's just like, when are you going to, when are you going to start paying for the bills, or when are we going to talk about this, And I feel that's kind of where we're at. We need to actually have that conversation so that we can get back to just enjoying life and making progress and living the dream, and doing what we need to do. It may not be money. It may be just energy. It may just be helping out around the house. It may be anything where it feels like you have all the responsibility and all the burden. Maybe it's a group project at school. Maybe it is something in the workplace. Maybe it's something to do with family or friends, in-laws, relatives of some kind, any of these things. Okay. So we've got our majors, and we've got fire and fire. And the fire is kind of what we don't want, I think, is to perhaps continue in this way indefinitely. Because, the fours here are telling me that this was meant to be a temporary situation, but you're seeing that it's getting worse. It's going on too long. But we also don't want to just sort of end the relationship. We don't want to quit. We don't want to say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. See you later. So we sometimes feel, here's that Two of Swords behind you. We sort of feel that we have an ultimatum. We feel that it's very black and white. It's either I allow things to continue as they are, or I leave. Well, we forget that there's in between those two extremes. We could have a conversation. We can say, hey, we need to figure this out. Okay? Because this is about a relationship for you. Whether it's a romantic one, a professional one, platonic, doesn't matter. There are more than just two options. Either we just sort of try to smile and be okay with it and just let it happen, or we pack our bags and leave and completely cut things off. I don't think it has to be either or. I don't think that is a true dichotomy here. I think there is some, there is a sort of higher perspective. There is a compromise. There is something else that we may be able to do. And I think the Two of Swords is really talking about that, because it sort of looks like there's a crossroads. It looks like you either go that way or that way. But we see that the third path, it's really small at the top of the card. It's that little tiny dagger with the crescent moon above it. There's a transcendent path. You know, it's that dialectic. There's the point, the counterpoint, and then there's the transcendent point. It's either stay and accept completely 100%, or it's go, I'm gone, packing my bags, never see you again. And then there is kind of a third path, right? And this is the path of the conversation, the compromise, and it's the difficult path, right? It's not so easy to do that. It's much easier to either just stay and let it go or to leave. The difficult thing is to have that conversation. And a lot of the time we, as human beings, tend to avoid the difficult situation. Up above everything, you've got the Four of Cups. I feel like you have been just sort of grinning and trying to force a smile and trying to be okay with it. We've been pretending that everything's fine. But I think you're starting to realize that there's no appreciation here. You can't keep going the way you've been going. All the weight is on your shoulders. You need some relief. Okay? You need somebody to take a little bit of that burden off of you. It's not fair that you have to do everything. It's not fair that it's all on your shoulders. Okay? And even with this idea of it being all on your shoulders, it sort of puts all the responsibility on you. Whether it's a success or a failure, it's all on you. It's like everybody's relying on you, and if you can't handle the weight on your shoulders and you stumble and fall, then everybody else is going to be affected by that. Everybody else is going to say, oh, thanks for letting us down, right? And that's absurd, right? Because if they were to help, if they were to pull some of the weight themselves, you would all be more likely to achieve success. And I think that this is a very good card. This is the recognition that in the future, if things keep going the way they're going, that's going to be bad news for everybody. Okay? And maybe this is part of the conversation. Maybe it needs to sort of have that theme to it, that, look, if we don't all start pitching in, we're not going to make it. You know? Rather than, as I think we've been approaching things, is just kind of trying to be okay with it, trying to not get upset. Okay. Down beneath the surface, though, is this idea of the higher perspective. There is this idea, too, of looking at the past. Now, I don't know if there's some obligation that you have toward this person, or if there was, I feel that there's something in the past. Either they were out of a job, or they were sick, or whatever it was, that they needed you to take on more responsibility. And you willingly did that because that's the kind of person you are. And that's the right thing to do, you know? But I think that now we're starting to realize that things should have changed since then. And so we're looking at the past and we're realizing that, okay, it started out very innocently and honestly and, you know, but now you're starting to wonder, are they just taking you for granted? Are they taking advantage of you? Have they perhaps gotten comfortable with you doing everything and they just get to sort of kick back? Now, I don't know if that's actually the case. It could be with our Two of Swords, too, that we're seeing things very black and white. We're seeing that I do all the work and they do nothing. I mean, that's very black and white, right? Maybe it's not so distinguishable like that. Maybe there is some nuance there. That's why we have to have a conversation. Okay. That's why we need, I think, in this case, and I don't say this often, we need more swords cards. Because I want you to be released from this burden. I want you to claim this blessing now. Right? This is kind of that, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have that conversation and get everything out in the open so that this Seven of Pentacles can go a step further, become an 8, become a 9, become a 10 of Pentacles, right? I like that we get the 7 of Pentacles. That's very good. Because this is showing us that, yeah, the way things have been going, the future's not very bright, right? But it tells me that there is hope, that there is confidence that with the right balance of energies, this is going to grow. This is going to be extraordinary, right? That maybe if this is a business thing or a financial thing, that things are going to be really, really good. It's like, come on, guys, we could be great here, but y'all got to do something. I can't do everything. If we all pitched in 10 of 10 wands, right? 100% effort. Imagine if we all pitched in that much. This would be, it would reach to the stars. Yeah. And so perhaps that is a way we need to address it as well. By how do we motivate other people to contribute as much as you, Taurus, are willing to contribute toward making this really an extraordinary success? Well, let's talk about the path of the serpent. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And it really supports the channel, and I appreciate that. Your general energy is a Knight of Cups. Very expressive of your emotions, right? It's very much wearing your heart on your sleeve. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why we don't want to have the conversation, because we know we'll probably start crying right away. Nobody wants to see Taurus cry, you know. But I think that we need to have that heart. We need to sort of pull our heart out and lay it on the table and say, this is it. I love you guys, but we got to do something. We got to change. We need a little bit more balance, cooperation, whatever that might be. Okay. This is a card of somebody who really follows their heart. And really, when they're feeling something, they feel it. And once you get going with this, it's hard to sort of stop. And I think that's why we don't see any other swords cards. Because when you start talking, it's just your emotions are going to come out. You know? And sometimes we just can't stop it. And sometimes this puts us in a very angry energy. Sometimes this puts us in a very sort of, with the tears, you know, very sort of sad or depressive energy. And so we do need a little bit of the air energy, I think, to allow us to speak in a emotionally charged and a very passionate way, but with refinement, with respect, with fairness, and with tolerance, and with acceptance, and compassion, and that sort of thing. Okay? So it really, to take the Libra energy with the Knight of Cups, is that we need to be emotional. We need to feel. We need to speak with passion to help convey ourselves, to help express ourselves. But we also want to keep it professional, right? And so it's like if you're just the Justice card, this is a very stuffy and dry delivery. Very professional, no emotions, and no connections. People are going to be like, okay, bye. You know, they're not going to feel what you feel, so you have to speak with passion. Passion alone is going to make you seem unhinged, right? So we need the poise. We need to be passionate but poised. And this is how you approach whatever this situation is. To advocate for yourself. Maybe this isn't friends. Maybe this isn't coworkers or roommates. Whatever. Honestly, I don't care what it is. I know that you have to advocate for yourself, and you've got to do so in this manner. We're no longer going to just try to be okay with it. Try to pretend we're okay. No, you are going to express yourself and advocate for yourself.'re going to be respectful, and you're going to be sort of professional, but you're going to be passionate because you are passionate, because that's how you feel. You're not going to have to force this. You may have to force the poise, but you're not going to have to force the passion, right? Because I feel like you are, in your general energy, very emotional about this situation. You do feel a way about this. And the fiery doorway is saying that, look, everything could change if you're willing to go through this fiery doorway. This is this is going to be a painful thing. And what that means is, by advocating for yourself, having the conversation, going into the boss's office, or whatever it is that you need to do, it's going to be a challenge to you. Okay, and that's why we haven't done it. But this is the doorway to the future. This is the doorway to the boss's office, or to your roommate's room, or whatever. This is the doorway to the future, to a different reality. And of course, the card we don't want is that Four of Wands. We don't want things to keep going the way they've been going. We don't want that dichotomy that says, okay, I either stay on this merry-go-round, around and around and around, even though I'm getting sick of it, and I'm just going to pretend I like it, or I'm going to just completely get off the merry-go-round and go home. Maybe there's something else we can do. Maybe we don't have to get off the merry-go-round. Maybe we don't have to go home. Maybe we can get off the merry-go-round, but we're still at the mall, still at the fair or whatever, you know. This is the card of completion, though. This is the card that we need. We need to put an end to the way things have been going. And again, that doesn't mean that it's an either-or sort of outcome. But things cannot continue the way they've been going, and that's why you need to advocate for yourself. And of course, the princess or the Queen of Swords is able to look at the past and the future. So you could say, hey, look, yeah, when this started, this was okay. It's not okay anymore. And it's not going to be okay. It's going to lead to a lot of fail. I mean, what else are you going to call it? A lot of failure. It's going to lead to a little bit of darkness in the future. When it started, it was okay. I didn't mind. That was what was necessary. But now things have to change. Otherwise, it's going to continue to go downhill. Okay. The good news is that Fool at the end. That Fool is a transcendence. That Fool, that is a very playful Fool. This, I think, is really, this is the lightness that you feel at the end. You know, after you resolve this issue, and that's what the Four of Wands is ultimately, is the resolution of it. A favorable resolution. And even though you probably have to compromise, they have to compromise, and it's like, it's a negotiation. Maybe you want more money for the work you do, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what the Ten of Wands is with our Seven of Pentacles. Maybe we're saying, hey, I'm doing a lot of work here, more and more and more, but I'm not getting paid anymore. So maybe it is the conversation with the boss or the manager or whatever, supervisor, whoever. And so it is a negotiation. You go and you ask for a dollar raise, they give you 50 cents. Okay. Whatever it is, you're leaving this situation thinking, I feel good. This is nice. You know, we've gotten over, we're released from this burden in a very positive way. So this is, you know, you're leaving the boss's office with a little bit of a raise, you know. Or maybe you're just asking for more employees to help you. You're getting that. And so you're walking away light on your feet. You're kind of floating away. It feels good. It feels really good. And it feels like this is kind of the beginning of a new day. Pardon my voice. I've been dealing with some vocal issues for a while now. They come and go, but I'm okay. I'm not doing it on purpose. Somebody says in the comments, they said, hey, I don't really dig this vocal fry you're doing. Trust me, I'm not doing it on purpose, right? Anyway, this is a very positive outcome. Okay, and I feel like it is the start of a new day. But let's look at our mystery card. I want to see something really, really good here. I mean, I want Empress. I want Ten of Cups. I want, I don't know, some good water energy, I think. Let's see. If you have a prediction, by the way, Taurus, put it in the comments. Yeah, here we go. The Emperor. Okay. The Emperor could be the boss that you have to approach. It could be that we don't really want to have this conversation, right? But I think that you advocating for yourself reminds you that you are a powerful creator, that you are in charge of yourself and of your life, and that no one is going to advocate for you but you. Okay? So this, I think, this really gives a sense of confidence. Now, I got to say, you got to go watch the Aries reading that I just did, literally half an hour ago. Because in the Aries reading, we had the Hierophant, your superpower card. And now, in your reading, we've got the Aries, right? Empress, the Aries superpower card. So the Emperor is representing your autonomy, your agency, your sense of these two together, right? It's just kind of like, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling kind of high, I'm feeling powerful. What else do I want to go do today? You know, I'm going to go visit my parents and I'm going to tell them how I feel too. Maybe not, but this is the feeling like you're confident now that you can do these things, that you can advocate for yourself and it's going to be okay. If you don't speak up, you're not going to get what you need. Yeah. You got to claim this blessing now. Okay? It's difficult, but do it. Now, we're going to do an extended reading if you want to stick around. There is a link up top, and there's a link down below. New readings for Taurus on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.